Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Parts Talk. I'm your host, Chris Clark. Today, I want to go back to an article I heard initially when I was on my way to work. I usually listen to the news, the CBC news on 99.1, and I came across this news piece that I found rather interesting. It's entitled Owner of All Electric Nissan Leaf Frustrated by Difficulty of Getting New Batteries. Now, it was reported by DianneBuckner CBC News on October 26, and I'm going to play the video first for you to hear the frustration of this particular customer because it goes in line with some of the things that I've been talking about on my channel and on my podcast, of course, and you decide. After the video, I'm going to go through a couple of the items that was mentioned in the article, and then we can take the discussion from there. So here goes.
When Clayton Brander bought a used 2013 Nissan Leaf, he knew the battery would need to be replaced at some point. Now his car won't go as far on a charge, so the time has come, and so has a problem.
I can't find out how to get a battery. I can't find out how much a replacement battery would cost, even though rough estimates that are being given by people on the floor say in excess of $15,000, which is more than I paid for the vehicle 3 years ago.
He's tried 3 local repair shops, 2 Nissan dealerships, and Nissan Canada repeatedly for weeks. The only concrete suggestion from Nissan so far? Buy a brand new Leaf.
It seems like these things are going to end up in the landfill. I'm going to have to replace it.
Buy a brand new Leaf. Keep that in mind. We're going to come back to that.
Which means all the greenhouse gas conservation is out the window.
Introducing the 100% electric Nissan Leaf. Innovation for the planet.
Lots of love for the environment in Nissan's commercials, but there wasn't much love on the part of American Leaf owners who launched a class action lawsuit over the battery capacity in early models. The suit was settled, but the resolution is no help to people like Clayton Brander.
I think Nissan should be quite loyal to some of these early adopters because it helped them to get the car out on the market, get some acceptance, and grow from there.
This electric vehicle engineering professor says nowadays batteries are built to last.
The battery will actually outlive the car by a long stretch.
Nissan Canada said in a statement to CBC News it's hopeful to find a resolution to Clayton Brander's problem, but wouldn't say how or at what cost. Brander needs a solution quickly. He's hesitant to even turn on the heat in the car these days.
And it took big media to get involved in order for Nissan Canada to acknowledge the customer's problem. We're going to discuss that as well.
Because that too uses his limited battery power.
I love the vehicle. I just think Nissan needs to do a bit more to support these early purchasers.
He says chucking an otherwise perfectly good 2013 into a landfill is the opposite of eco-friendly, which is why he purchased a Nissan Leaf in the first place. DianneBuckner CBC News, Toronto.
And there you have it. One frustrated customer will lead to others and will lead to many. But let me go through a couple of things that the article did mention, right? It did mention 3 years ago, the Paul River, British Columbia resident chose to buy a used 2013 Nissan Leaf motivated by a keen interest in sustainability. Because today when you buy a car, you have to think about the reliability, the sustainability, everything that falls in line with your budget. And of course, you want to feel safe, and you also want to have the environment in mind with this big push about green energy and everything like that. I love the car, he said. Honestly, in 3 years and 40,000 kilometers, I've replaced a setup of tires and windshield washer fluid. Nothing breaks down. It's a fantastic little vehicle. I think electric vehicles are the way to go. So if it's a fantastic little vehicle, why would I want to change it? And he has a point. But nowadays, instead of being able to drive 120 kilometers, that 2013 Leafs could initially go on a full charge, Banda can't get much more than 80 kilometers. He has become hesitant about turning on the heat or window defroster since using those features require battery power and will reduce his driving range even further, right? So this is a big kicker. The dealership where I bought the car said that in a few years you can replace the battery for about $5,000. So he had that in mind, that he'll probably save up to purchase a new battery for $5,000, which is more than convenient because the car would have saved so much over the number of years. But he goes on to say, Nissan hasn't been helpful. I've sent probably 6 emails to them. They keep telling me to go to the dealership. I call my local dealership and they send me emails to Nissan Canada 6 weeks later. Neither of us has gotten a response. So Nissan Canada, right here, dealership has to go through them in order to know exactly what is going on, because the dealerships don't make the parts. They have to order the parts through the distribution center that is set up by Nissan Canada. But here, part of the problem with this now, because I even have a series on my YouTube channel that says how engineers keep mechanics miserable, and this is one of the things about manufacturers. They only, in this part of the world that I've experienced it personally, they only think about car sales, not about the after sales service, to keep the customer in mind. So I go on. Both dealerships told him that a new battery, if he can find one, look at this, if he can find one, could cost him at least $15,000, which will be more than he paid for the vehicle in the first place. So, like I said, they don't really care about the after sales service, customer retention, their customer retention scores, customer satisfaction. All those things are not a part of the purview with some of the local dealerships here in the north. It's just about sales, 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 sales. His local dealership has encouraged him to solve the issue by simply purchasing a brand new Nissan Leaf. The basic 2020 model will cost $42,000 and can travel about 240 kilometers on a full charge. That suggestion doesn't seem very sustainable, and you can't blame him, because he's looking at his pocket. He's looking to see what his budget can cost him, because at the end of the day, all they want to do is sell new cars. And we saw what happened in the 2008 financial market meltdown of the big three going under, because they were so focused on selling cars that most of the dealership and even the manufacturers themselves, they didn't look at their absorption rate. And I've been talking about this over and over and over in almost in every one of my episodes, that the after sales service and the customer retention, customer satisfaction part of the dealer experience is almost null and void. So it mentioned about the US class action lawsuit, and it is written here: the Nissan Leaf has long been the world's best-selling electric vehicle, surpassed for the first time in 2020 by Tesla's Model S, according to Nissan and Tesla's own figures. Now, this is somewhat realistic, and I'm going to tell you why. Someone is always going to be the first mover, and that's what Nissan had. They had first mover advantage by being the first. Tesla saw what they did, innovated, look at what the advantages and disadvantages, and only made things better, right? And if you look at the essentials of most companies when they're doing best practices, that is maybe something of the past. I'm not sure if companies, particularly the automotive industry, still practice that, right? And what Tesla did, if I look at their model, they practiced the 4 Ps. That was orchestrated by another top brand, right? The purpose, the principles, the people, the process, and the practices, right? They look at their predecessors, which was Nissan. They look at the vision in how they could have their cars do a little bit more better than what is going on now. They look at the people, right? The creativity, the change, the courage in order for them to push this car to its limit. They look at the processes in order to ensure customer satisfaction. And then look around you, especially here. When I look around me, most of the cars, electric vehicles on the road today are Teslas. Everyone wants one, right? And then they implemented other marketing strategies. But most importantly, what Tesla has is a face. Tesla has someone in Elon Musk who can relate to the average guy on the street. And that's basically what most of the companies are. I think they're shying away from that, because in the 1990s and early 2000s, you would have a representative, either the CEO, the managing director, a manager of a communications manager, right? A public figure who represents the company, who will always be out there talking about what the future holds for the company, what they're doing now, the problems that they're facing. If there's any issue that is encountered in the public's eye, then that face will come and explain exactly what they want to do. So the corporate social responsibility aspect of most of these large corporations were always there. People would associate Elon Musk with Tesla, same as how they associate Bill Gates with Microsoft, and Warren Buffett with his financial systems and companies and conglomerates, right? And also Jeff Bezos with Amazon. There is a face to all these big names. But if you go down and you look at it and see everything here, I'm gonna go down into the article. It says the battery's capacity is reduced more quickly when they were talking about here in terms of what Nissan did. He had it that one of the design compromises Nissan initially made it in order to keep production costs down was not to install an advanced cooling system for its battery. They were using a chemistry that was particularly temperature sensitive, and they did not use expensive liquid cooling. What did I tell you? Engineers keeping mechanics miserable. This is one of the processes, is that manufacturers are always finding a way in order to keep costs down. So they will compromise the integrity of the vehicle itself in order to limit the amount of expenses that will go into the manufacturing process. So the company settled the suit and extended the battery capacity warranty to 5 years on models made from 2013 onward. Later, Nissan extended the warranty to 8 years on models made after 2016. So there you have it, right? And people are asking about the loyalty. There's no loyalty in this business anymore. You buy a car, you drive it, it breaks down, they expect you to come in, take a brand new one, and you continue your payments. It's easy as that. All they want is the money. And then they wonder why mechanics are going their own way. Because at the end of the day, you need the people to drive the process. You need the hands on the ground in order to make the product look good. But what can I say? I'm only one person. If you want to find this article, I'll be posting the link in the description box below. But tell me what you think. Was Nissan doing their best? Was this customer had to go the route that he did in order to get the attention? Because he loves the car. He's keeping this car on the road. And my concern is that here in Canada, we're expected to go, well, mostly, I don't think all, but most of our vehicles on the road should be electric by 2035. But when you have issues like this going around where manufacturers are unable to sustain the supply chain of parts, and also to have mechanics having the knowledge, the expertise, and the know-how in order to keep these vehicles on the roads, then it's going to be a problem. Okay? The Nissan Canada says more than 3,300 Canadians have purchased Leafs built prior to 2015. That's a lot of vehicle. Okay? It is a lot. And then the statement also pointed out in the environment impact of the Leaf, saying owners around the world have driven 4.8 billion kilometers and helped prevent more than 2.4 billion kilograms of CO2 emissions. That is a wonderful contribution to our environment. And it is what it is, right? Branda says at the end of the article here, he remains determined to hang on to the vehicle, ideally with a new battery. He's happy that Nissan Canada finally got in touch with him after the inquiry from CBC News. So there you have it, folks. You have an issue now. Don't go to the dealership. Go to the media. But he's puzzled why the company says the vehicle needs to be tested. He already paid $130 for a battery test at a local dealership. Of course, nothing in life is free. The fact that I don't get enough driving range after this one is all that's needed to determine that I need a new battery. And it's simple. If it's the same thing with the conventional cars, if you fill your tank and you used to get 950 kilometers from it, and then all of a sudden you're only getting 800 kilometers, then something is fundamentally wrong. It's simple maths. Okay. For I'm going to do a follow up on this article itself. I found it very interesting again, and it's coming from a previous article that I also found, and it also has a lot of things inside of it, and you'll be hearing more. For my listeners on the podcast, go to the my YouTube channel. You will find the video in full length. Tell me what you think, and please remember, leave your comments below, and I'll be in touch. I'll see you again.